All right, Emilio, let's shift gears and let's get into the first ever PTA Power Rankings. Sounds off. Boy,
you should have told me. I would have got something crazy going.
Bro, let me.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
I broke out the Excel sheet earlier.
Oh, okay. All right. How'd that go?
It's just one cell.
Okay.
We're still learning to crawl here. So, and it glitched out on me. So somebody in the chat, it's funny, man. On my side, it was showing everything numbered out, ranked 1 through 10. And then somebody commented and said, "What's this participation trophy BS?" And I'm like, "Well, what's he pissed about?" And I pulled it up on my phone, and it's glitched out to where everybody's ranked number 1.
You think God never farted?
See, I can't remove this one on the left, so I just had to add the actual ranking in there of whatever.
Nice. I got you.
So here we go, guys. Now let me give you the criteria. This is not Clayton's opinion on where these teams rank, okay? It's a little bit of Clayton's opinion from the sense of I think these are the most important stats. Here's how we came up with the power ranking, okay? One, and all these are evenly weighted, okay? Nothing has more value than the other, okay? This is just everything together, okay? Record, so winning percentage ranking, okay? Offensive scoring, points per play. Defensive scoring, points per play allowed. Offensive yardage, yards per play. Defensive yardage, yards per play allowed. So you're getting the scoring aspect and the moving the ball down the field, both on offense and defense equally. Turnover margin, which you guys know, I think that's a huge, probably the most important statistic every Sunday, right? And then what we do is we take that, we average everything out. It's 6 different categories, and that gives us a score, low number wins, just like our draft board. And here are the rankings. Number 1, the Los Angeles Rams come in first place with a 4.8 score. They're playing damn good football. Emilio, they have the 4th best record right now in terms of winning percentage in the entire league. They're 8th in scoring, 1st in scoring defense. I don't know who their DC is, but he's not going to be there for long. 7th in yards per play, 7th in yards per play allowed, 2nd in turnover differential. So that gives them a 4.8. They are the number 1 team on the PTA Power Rankings. How do you feel about the Rams? Do you think that's too high, too low? What do you think there, man?
No, I actually think that's probably spot on. They man, I was worried about Stafford's back at the beginning of the year. He's played right through it. That's not a problem for him. And they're scary, right? They're a pretty scary team in the NFC. Going, I listening to Ross Tucker's, right? He does his power rankings, and he does it kind of based on like if they were to play a 10-game scenario, is this team going to be that team sort of thing? I'm almost 99% sure he also had the Rams number 1, and it's just one of those things where, dude, everything they're doing, it's working for them right now. Yeah, you got a couple losses on there, but who cares? They're getting hot right now. If they cool off before the end of the season, that's good for us. But right now, yeah, they probably are the best team.
All right, so there you go. The LA Rams, number 1 with a 4.8 score. Number 2, the Indianapolis Colts with a 6.1 score. Their record rank, winning percentage, 5th best in the league. They're number 1 in offensive scoring, number 7 in defensive scoring, number 1 in yards per play on offense, number 11 on yards per play allowed on defense, 12th in turnover differential, giving them a 6.1 score. If it wasn't for that turnover differential being outside of the top 10, that's really the difference between them and the Rams. The Rams being 2nd best there and them being 12th. If they can get the turnover problem under control and take the ball away more and protect the ball a little bit more, they could very well be the best team in the league in terms of the power rankings there. What do you think, man?
Yeah. No, and I think you're right. The turnovers are key. I pulled up the Rams coordinator. Chris Shula is the D coordinator for the Rams. So
never heard that name either. Have you?
No, it's his second season as a coordinator as a 25. He was promoted in 24 after he was an assistant. But hey, it's working for the Rams. You got the Colts. Danny had a bad week one day. What do you have? 4 or 5 picks one week. So yeah. you get a couple of those in there. That's going to skew the numbers. They've been playing great. Let's see how they go. They play the Chiefs this week, so that's going to be a test right there. I think you'll be able to go from week 12 to week 13. There's going to be huge jumps in this. We're doing this each week, right, Clay?
I'm going to try to.
Okay.
I don't want to,
or at least keep an idea of it, because I
commit.
feel like that you're going to start to see the major jumps now later on in the season versus early, because you got a baseline, you're past halfway point, and you can kind of get an idea where these teams are.
If you can create me a spreadsheet to where I can just punch these columns in, we'll do it every week, no problem.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll talk after. I'll get you.
That's a no, by the way, when he says we'll talk.
No, we will. I got you.
That's how Mandy operates anyway. Hey, can we go here for dinner tonight? We'll talk about it. Going to her spot tonight. So
yeah.
Chester in the chat said, I think D coordinators are getting the read on Daniel Jones, coach quarterback. That's the thing, like Emilio was just saying, on the back half of the season, people got plenty of tape, and now you start to see where the rubber meets the road for sure. Drew D says Rams are scary, Indy overrated. So he disagrees with Indy at number 2, but he thinks the Rams are scary. Appreciate the input there, Drew. All right, moving along. Number 3. I know people are going to hate me for this. Again, it's not my opinion. It's what the numbers say. Detroit Lions, 7.8 score. They are 3rd best on our power rating or power rankings. When you look at Detroit's numbers, here's what we got. They've got the 15th best record in terms of winning percentage. Okay, so that brings them down a little bit. Offensive points per play, 3rd best in the league. Defensive scoring points per play allowed, 11th. Yards per play on offense, 4th best. Yards per play allowed on defense, 6th best, and they're 8th in turnover differential. Emilio, their winning percentage is the only thing bringing them down. And here's what I'll look at here. When you got a team that's ranking really good at all the important metrics except for winning percentage, guess what I put that on? I put that on the coaches. Probably some bad coaching going on there, right? Now, if you've got a team that are bad in the rankings, but their winning percentage is high, guess what? They're coaching their ass off. They're getting the most out of that team that's struggling in the key categories.
Right.
So, what do you think about Detroit here? 7.8 score, 3rd best. And again, the only thing bringing them down is the winning percentage. They're playing solid football across the board, top 10 in protecting the football and taking the ball away. And again, when it comes to yardage, they're crushing it. Now, you're probably wondering how are they, maybe not more effective on defensive points per play allowed. It's a good question because they're 6th in yards per play allowed on defense, but they're 11th in scoring. Probably red zone efficiency on defense, right? It's kind of coming into factor.
Yep. Yeah, and coming off the beginning of the season when they had 2 new coordinators, offensive, defensive, and we gotta jump on them being that first one. All right, perfect. That worked out in our favor. They've kind of ironed out some of those kinks. Again, that's why halfway through the season you'll be able to pull these numbers. It'll make a lot more of a difference on where these teams are sitting. I do think they're playing good ball. We're going to see them in a week. It's not like we can try and avoid it, but we see them twice a year. They're in the division. They finally took the paper bags off everybody in the stands. Like they're a good team at the moment. We got to go out there and change that score so that we're up, we're at number 3. But until then, they've put in that work and gotten themselves to this point. So we need to make sure that, moving forward, we can kind of, take it from them.
And the big thing that's not in these columns that I've got on my sheet here that really shows up in the win-loss column is going for it on 4th down recklessly like Dan Campbell does. It's bit him in the ass. Now, the numbers, the numbers will suggest, okay, they're due now, but again, every game's different. So we'll see if they start to hit on some of those. If they continue to do that and they fell on 4th down, they may look up at the end of the year and be like, damn, we need to make it the playoff.
Well, the other thing is too, Clay, they set up their offense to being planning on going for it on 4th, right? So if you're calling, 3 run plays that gets you 8 yards, all right, perfect. I'm going for it on 4th anyway. But they know that you can get yourself in a bind not having the offensive game plan of getting up in 3 and moving the chains.
Yeah, and that's why you guys know me. I'm a boring fan. Take the freaking points. Take the points and the field position. Live the play another down. Get back over there. Huddle up. Let's reset. And let's get to playing efficient both on offense and defense. Forget this whole, all right, let's roll the dice every time. And I understand you want to do it every now and again. Maybe you're not happy with the way your offense is playing, so it's like, man, we really need to capitalize on the fact that we're on their side of the field and it's 2 yards to go. Let's see if we can pick up this first down and kind of steal a possession from them, essentially. But Deadfish in the chat says, Clayton, how could you? I felt dirty, Deadfish. I felt so dirty putting them number 3, but I'm like, I can't. The numbers are the numbers. We got to put them on. So Chester in the chat said the difference between the Lions and the Packers is the Packers are not playing anywhere near their potential yet. I think that is such a good comment there, Chester. You can just see flashes of the Packers and what they can be. And then with Detroit, it's like to me, it looks like they're playing to their utmost potential, and their coaches are kind of screwing them out of it right now with these fourth down gambles. So completely agree with that. All right, moving along. Number 4, the Seattle Seahawks. Their score is an 8.0. Seattle, they are 8th in terms of winning percentage, 2nd in offensive scoring, 4th in defensive scoring, 3rd in yards per play on offense, 3rd in yards per play allowed on defense. So they're literally top 5 in everything other than their winning percentage. So why is their winning percentage down to 8th? They're 28th in turnover differential. Now, keep in mind, Sam Darnold had a game the other night where he went colorblind. That dude was throwing it to the opposite jersey all night.
Seeing ghosts?
Yes. Oh, he was definitely seeing ghosts, just like back with New York when he played against the Patriots. So that's what brung their score down. If they can fix that, they're playing damn good football. They just got to protect the football and take the ball away.
Yeah. Hey, again, that's what we talk about each game, though, right, Clay? Is the turnover margin, turnover differential, middle eight, all those things come into factor. And then at the end of the season, you look back and how many times did we give it away? How many opportunities did we miss? How many times did the defense give the offense another chance? All those things come into play. Seattle, you can't survive on that forever. We talked about the Bears being dependent on the turnover heaviness to get them in that position. Cool. How long is that going to be around?
Right. Chuck Jagger says Seattle hooping. They are, man. I mean, you're talking about 2nd, 4th, 3rd. Get the turnovers taken care of, and they'll be in good shape. I think they're going to be one of the best teams at the end of the year. If they can clean up that turnover differential, we'll look up and go, yeah, man, they're on a roll. They're going to be tough.
Crazy to think, like when we were first talking about the season, NFC, that you have, the Lions, the Rams, and the Seattle all up there as like legitimate dogs. I didn't quite see it at the beginning. Lions, yeah, Rams maybe. Seattle didn't quite see.
Yeah, that's a good point. Moving along, number 5, your Green Bay Packers with an 8.8 score. I know that catches people off guard, like what? Because there's some people that even got them in the top 10 of their power rankings, right?
Yeah, Ross had us 9th.
Okay, so we've got them 5th. Here's why. 9th in winning percentage, okay? Offensive points per play, offensive scoring, 14th, right? We've dipped down to 14th now. Defensive points per play, so defensive scoring, 5th best in the league. So that's good news there. Yards per play, 9th. Now, keep in mind, how many times have we went for it on 4th down on the other team's side of the field, right? That type of thing. That plays a factor in why our scoring's down, yet our yards per play is not. Defensive yards per play allowed, 3rd best in the league, man. And turnover differential, 13th. So, again, what's the strength? Hands down the defense. We got a top 5 defense, no doubt about it. Offense, you're hovering right between 8 and 12, somewhere around there. If someone says they're not a top 10 offense, I get it. If somebody says they are a top 10 offense, I can understand that argument too. So again, 14th in scoring, 5th in defensive scoring, 9th in offensive yards, 3rd in defensive yards, and 13th in turnover differential, giving them a score of 8.8. They're 5th on the list. Do you think that's too high or low, man, based off what you've heard? You're muted, brother.
You're right. Yeah. I would say that maybe a touch high, but the team is going in the right direction. So I'm happy with where the score is at. I double checked. Ross had us actually at 11th. So just outside of the top 10, but that's where we've been fighting to get Jordan inside the top 10 of rankings forever. It seems like even for this team, getting us to fight inside the top 10, 5 might be this is all 32, right? Seems like we've only had – okay, I was going to say, that's right, you had Indy in there. But it just seems like we're maybe a little bit high with kind of where some of the AFCs are. But thinking about it, are the Broncos at 9-2? I think we're going to have a battle when we go to play them. I think it's going to be a fight. And you could be completely right, us being 5 right now, because if we were to play them head up 10 times, how many times are we winning? I would say at least 6 out of the 10, 7 out of the 10.
Mm-hmm. And Jen Wright says not reach the ceiling or even close yet. That's the thing, is like we still haven't put in a complete game together. Even Pittsburgh, we played a horrible first half, right? Like Detroit week 1's probably the closest thing we have to a complete game, right? And that stacks up really well for the rematch. Of course, they're going to be prepared. They're going to know what we did, and you got to be ready to adjust to that. But yeah, I like the way the direction the team's heading, and the youngest roster in the league. Come on, man.
And
Absolutely.
you're saying that Detroit was the best one. I'm hoping that they bring some of that mentality of, hey, divisional opponent, even if it was all the offseason they prep for them, that's that kind of mentality and that kind of drive that they're going to bring into these next 5 divisional games they have coming up. You see a completely different team. All right, yeah, we were still getting the kinks out. We didn't come out. Maybe we came out a little flat on a couple of these games. Fine, that's behind us. Let's go now.
Yeah, definitely. All right, number 6, the New England Patriots with a 9.1. People are going, whoa, whoa, whoa. New England's got like one of the best records in the league, right? They do. You notice we haven't said Denver yet, right?
Yeah.
New England has the second best winning percentage in the league, not in offensive scoring, not in defensive scoring. They're 6th in offensive yards per play. However, they're 14th in defensive yards per play. And then turnover differential, they're 15th. So that brings them down to a 9.1. And you'll notice, I love the way the score breaks down that far because like a 9.1, 8.8, you can kind of do it in tiers, right?
Yep.
You kind of break these teams down in tiers.
Just how we did the board. Yeah, you could get, your jump tiers of 5 and up and 5 to 10, all that.
Yeah, so we've got New England in the number 6 spot with a 9.1 score. Anything you want to add to that there other than the fact that, again, yards per play on defense allowed and the turnover differential is the only thing kind of pulling them down. If they were, top 5 in those 2 categories, they would be right there in the top 3 for us.
Yeah, and I think some of that turnover differential probably, young quarterback still getting it under him, but he's been playing great. So there's not much you can say. What was he, top 5 in that ranking as well that you showed earlier where Jordan Love was 2? Mm-hmm. So you've got a good quarterback. As long as you take care of the ball, you got a good head coach. That's half of your battle of if you're going to look at a team per game and you look at the 3 major things, coach, quarterback, defense, they're pretty much there.
Yeah. Professor Cake says Patriots look scary. They do. And that's the thing, guys, with this power ranking system that I'm laying out here, these are just the most important statistics that I think should apply, right? It doesn't mean the Patriots couldn't go out and beat the number 1 team on this list tomorrow, right? Yeah. It's just here's how they played up to this point. How are they going to finish? How are they going to evolve as a team, right?
Right, because the Chiefs are playing Indy this weekend. What's going to happen? Where are they going to be after this?
Yeah, it's a great point, man. Great point. And all it takes is one bad game to really drop you down some of these rankings. But again, it's all about consistency, man. Number 7, the Denver Broncos with a 9.6 score. Guys, they have the best winning percentage in the league, right? Ranked number 1. Offensive points per play scoring 18th. Defensive scoring 2nd best in the league. Offensive yards per play 17th. Defensive yards per play 1st in the league. 19th in turnover margin. I'd love to know who their defensive coordinator is because he's probably fast tracking to be an NFL head coach here real soon. But again, when it comes to Denver, you've got a coach that's already won a Super Bowl, a coach that completely revitalized Drew Brees' career. Now he's got his quarterback of the future in Bo Nix, right? He loves that that quarterback for the franchise for the foreseeable future. But the strong point of their team is actually on defense, which is absolutely wild. Vance Joseph. So, boy, we've heard that name a time or 12, haven't we?
Yep.
That's a guy. And again, I don't know if he's had a head coaching job before or not. Some people were just cut out to be coordinators, but Vance Joseph, it seems like he's always got a good defense. Wasn't he in Carolina? Am I thinking right, guys? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it's his 3rd season, starting in 23 as a DC for them. 2nd stint, he served as the head coach from 17 to 18 for the Broncos. And then you were correct, Cardinals, where he kind of just was on the staff of other teams as well. But yeah, the Cardinals. Got it.
All right, so there you go. Denver Broncos come in the number 7 spot. Number 8, your reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles with a 10.1. They rank 8th, and here is why. Winning percentage, 3rd best in the league. Offensive scoring, 11th. Defensive scoring, 6th. Offensive yards per play, Emilio, if you had to guess, where do you think they're ranked? Just based off of what you know about the Eagles offense. Nick Sirianni, offensive mind. He doesn't call the plays, but an offensive-minded coach.
I would say like 12th, 13th.
23rd in yards per play. Yeah. Now they're 11th.
They had to get the ball to A.J. Brown, but that's why everyone was supposed to drop him in fantasy.
Saying So defensive yards per play allowed, Vic Fangio's got them ranked 11th. So 6th best scoring defense, 11th best defense in yards. And turnover differential, this is their bread and butter. They're 7th best in the league in turnover margin. So that gives them a 10.1. That ranks them 8th on the power rankings here from these key statistics. You see that and you go, I don't know, man. I feel like they're a top 3 team in the league, right? Again, will this stuff catch up to them? Or is that the sign of a good coach that their score is a 10.1, yet their winning percentage is 3rd best in the league? Yep. Again, you look at Nick Sirianni, top 10, maybe top 5 now. He's hovering around top 5 in winning percentage all time. And I don't want to hear this. He hasn't been coaching long enough, guys. That dude, he's already won a Super Bowl. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, right? He's won a Super Bowl, and his winning percentage is top 5 all time, top 7 all time. It's time to put some shine. I know he's a quirky individual. He's kind of weird in his pressers and stuff. This dude is one hell of a head coach, man.
Yeah, you got to give him his flowers, right? One of the coaches that got to the mountaintop, but yeah, the Eagles, they got a battle. They had they're playing the Cowboys, I want to say, this week, right? So they're they again, everybody, as how they've sort of set up the schedule, putting all the divisional games at the end of the year. Yeah, you've gone through some of the teams in the NFL. Cool. The gauntlet is coming up for everybody. It's not just the Packers. It's everybody in the league is going to start narrowing down a lot of their divisional games, and you're really going to start to separate. Right now, the Eagles, yeah, they deserve to be 8. They still beat us. Technically, they could be higher, right? But going off the numbers itself, that's the season as a whole. We're still 3 spots ahead of them. But you can't just say that they're not a decent team, right? We took an L to them. They've beaten a lot of other good teams this year. They've only had a couple bad losses to a couple of not so good teams.
Yeah. Thank you for that number. Bates went and did the digging. He is 4th all time at 718 winning percentage. Guys, that means I think the only coaches ahead of him, correct me if I'm wrong, Bates, I don't know if you still got it pulled up. Vince Lombardi is higher than him. John Madden's higher than him. There's a guy I'm not familiar with that's number 1 who coached in the 20s, like 4 or 5 years in the 20s, right? This dude, man, here's what's crazy. We thought it was wild that Matt LaFleur's ass was on the line early, 2 games ago, 1 game ago, right? Nick Sirianni, they were calling for his job in the first half of last year, and they went on to win a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So just put some respect on his name. It's absolutely wild. It's wild what he's done so far in Philly. So again, we've got them in the number 8 spot. Nick Sirianni doing a hell of a job coaching those guys up based off the rankings. All right, Buffalo Bills, number 9. Why are they in the 9 spot? 7th best winning percentage, 4th in offensive scoring, 19th in scoring defense. So offense is definitely their strong point. 2nd in yards per play, so even better moving the ball on offense as opposed to scoring. And then 22nd in yards per play allowed, 13th in turnover differential. If they can get their defense a little closer to that top 10 mark, you're going to see them climb the ranks a little bit more. This is why people have called for their head coach's job, is because he is a defensive-minded coach, and their defense is the part that's struggling. So it kind of feels like you're wasting a little bit of Josh Allen out there. And again, I know there's some Josh Allen haters that watch the show, but the reality is he's got that offense 4th in scoring and 2nd in yards in terms of yards per play. Bates, with that information, said Lombardi 738, John Madden 759, and then Chamberlain 784. I think that's Guy Chamberlain. I could be wrong. So yeah, Sirianni 4th best. But the Buffalo Bills coming in at number 9, Emilio. You think that's too high, too low? If someone else didn't tell me the criteria and said, here's my rankings, I go, that's way too low for Buffalo, right? Mm-hmm. Do you see it that way too, or am I giving them too much credit?
No, they're just so fluke, man. They lost to the Patriots. They lost to Miami, right? I just don't trust them. Josh Allen is basically their whole team. If he's off, that team's off. And their defense is built for a little bit more speed, not as thick and heavy. So they need to kind of play their game. And if it doesn't go well, I think they're going to struggle. I feel like they're kind of team that would need that home playoff game to make a run. Whereas if they go out on the road, I'm not so confident in them.
Yeah. And Randy, I see your super chat, buddy. We'll get that as soon as we're done with the power rankings, man. Appreciate you so much. Number 10, the last one on the list, The Pittsburgh Steelers with an 11.5 score. Here's why Pittsburgh is there. They're 12th in winning percentage, 7th in offensive scoring, 10th in scoring defense. Okay. They are 19th in yards per play on offense, 17 in yards per play on defense, which tells you they must have a pretty good red zone offense, a pretty good red zone a pretty good red zone defense, essentially, right? And then, of course, they're 4th in turnover margin, which that's what Aaron Rodgers does. He protects that football, and you got Mike Tomlin helping coach up that defense, taking the ball away. So, again, the big thing that sticks out to me there, Emilio, is their red zone offense and red zone defense has got to be pretty good. And they're kind of middle of the road, mediocre when it comes to yards on offense, yards on defense. But that being 4th, being top 5 there in turnover differential is the big difference maker there. They are number 10 on the list.
And remember, all these are weighted even, right? So that does play in effect. But again, who's at quarterback protecting the ball? 12. That's why they're doing well. Their offense, I mean, aren't they second to last or last? Like, they don't push the ball down the field. He's not throwing deep routes. They're in 13 all the time. They're in 12 all the time.
Which, by the way, I don't mean to cut you off, but their tight end Washington, did you see what he said on that podcast?
No.
He weighs 310 pounds, tight end. And
that was the one that was just throwing dudes.
Yes.
Yeah, ran the dude over. Yep.
It's like, geez, Pete.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No.
I had to say that while it was on my mind.
310 is, I mean, that's impressive the way he can move like that. But again, that's an extra offensive lineman. They need to be able to run the ball. Rodgers is throwing, quick outs, flats. They're not getting vertical a ton, but they're making it happen. They're getting the wins. They could be scary if they can fend off the Ravens and get a home game, or get their foot in the door as a division winner. They could be scary in the playoffs. You could see that 2010 somehow the NFL scripts it to get us back there with them. I think Rodgers, he could carry them to that point.
Completely agree, man. So it's going to be fun to see what Pittsburgh does, man. I'm still holding out hope that we're going to have a Green Bay Packers, Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl, man. That's what I want more than anything. You talking about the buzz, the hype around that. So if you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments what you think about the power rankings that we put together. Again, these are evenly weighted. So if you think overall record should be the number one determining factor, I completely understand. If you think points scored and points allowed should be the number one factor, I get it. Turnover differential, I get it. I just wanted to include more than just 3 or 4 stats, right? I wanted to throw a bunch of stuff in there and kind of get a good feel. It's more about the exercise of going across the chart and going, okay, this team does that well. Here's why they're winning. Boy, they're coaching really bad. Their team's playing their ass off, and they're somehow losing these games, right? Mm-hmm. So I just want to kind of hit it from that.
Before we hit that super chat, Chuck Jaggers Clay said, I'd rather not beat Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, Chuck. I can understand that. But for me, man, it's all about things coming full circle.
Yep.
Like, I just remember what it was like when a young Aaron Rodgers beat Brett Favre at Lambeau the year that we won the Super Bowl. They swept us the year before, we swept them the next year. It was special,
Absolutely.
And that's no ill will to Aaron. I love Aaron. You guys know I'm pulling for the Steelers every single week, right? But other than when they play the Packers, obviously, but I can understand that, though.
Yeah, no, I get it for sure.
Yeah. So, again, if you're watching this back later, let us know what you think about those top 10 rankings. Where were we off? Is there a team that you feel like should be in the top 10? Is there somebody in the bottom half of the top 10 that should be in the top 2 or 3? We want to hear from you in the comments. Make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Super chat from Randy. Thank you so much, buddy. Popped in late. Hope everyone's doing well. Wanted to hear your thoughts on this. How come we don't utilize pump fakes? Watch the all-22 and the way DBs jump routes. A simple pump and go would be money. Appreciate the super chat. Emilio, what's your take on that? Because I don't think it's just the Packers. I don't see hardly any quarterbacks in today's game throwing a lot of pump fakes out there. Do you?
Yeah.
Or is it just me?
No, I think you're right. Hey, you would think, all those VHSs I had of the football follies and all those, they were humming it every time you'd see them. You throw the whole shoulder into it. I don't think they just have enough time back there. Yeah, they probably still had fast sacks back then. I think just the rush is different. You're seeing things different, and you get a lot more RPO nowadays. That's more of a split-second decision where we get handoff or throw. It's got to come out of your hands. A lot of the offense is 2 seconds and out. 1-2 steps. There's not a bunch of under center 7-step drops all the way in wishbone, whatever you're in, you get everybody, peeling back there and then just humming it. But that's a lot of time for him to get out there. Yeah, I'll throw a quick pump fake on the out route that's taking me 3 seconds to just backpedal, and then I can throw the up. But yeah, it would be cool. It's also, sometimes I don't even think it's feasible to even throw the quick pump. Yeah, you can get them on some if you got a second, but it's got to be, you're probably going to that side of the field anyway. You're probably, maybe you're pumping on a flood and you maybe can try to get the safety to pull on the streak and you hit the corner under the out underneath, but I don't think there's a bunch of it available.
Yeah. And again, I think, Randy, that you've seen it a lot in the 90s. Growing up, there was a pump fake on about every play, man, especially Favre. Favre was pumping that thing, man, no doubt about it. But today's game, it just seems like there's few and far between. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just, from the Packers standpoint, I don't look at it like, man, we don't pump as much as others, right? It just seems like across the league, it's more of a timing base. It's not, all right, let me get that DB to bite so I can throw here. It's more about the 1 to the 2 to the 3. Is it a high-low read? Is it a low-roll? Is it just to pick a side?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how the game has evolved over the years. So, but I think it's a good observation, though, man. Like I said, I think it's just league-wide.
And also, you got man in hip pocket. How often are they looking back at the quarterback? It depends on what kind of defense you're playing against.
Yeah. And it's almost like it only works against zone because they're looking at the quarterback, right? That's where they'll bite. So maybe we should utilize some pump fakes in when we get a zone heavy team. But again, the quarterback, I don't think they're getting to that level of thinking like, okay, they're in zone, their eyes are on me, let me throw a pump fake. They're still trying to figure out, okay, as the pass rush is bearing down, where am I going with the football? Is it man or is it zone? It's just get the ball out in rhythm, mechanics, all that stuff. So, but we appreciate you, Randy. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. All right, Emilio, let's do this. One last topic. We'll make this kind of a rapid fire segment. I want to give some love to Keisean Nixon. NFL Stats tweeted this out. Most passes defended through 11 weeks. Now, I'm assuming this is a pass breakup, most passes defended, right? Now, maybe that means also hitting the receiver as the ball gets there. Maybe that's what a pass defended is as opposed to a PBU. But nonetheless, Keisean Nixon is tied for the lead in the league with 14, with DJ Turner II also having 14. 2 behind them is Quinyon Mitchell. And then Michael Jackson has got 11, along with Tyson Campbell, Derek Stingley Jr., Joey Porter Jr., and Tyke Smith. So Keisean Nixon, man, one of only 2 guys with 14 pass breakups. I know he's not the perfect corner, but, man, he continues to impress me, man. I did not expect him to play this good on the outside when we moved him there.
Here's a guy.
He's been crushing it. He's gotten his opportunity. He's making the most of it. I remember when we were talking about we were mad that we paid him $6 million to be a kick returner, right? Or, and you get people upset that we even paid him that. Dude has been our number 1 outside corner out there. And he was talking in his presser every playoff game he's played in since he's been here. Carrington was on his side. CV gets those reps. I think he thinks he's a dog as well. You got to have a little bit of attitude when you're corner. And I think just a little bit more of that came out when Ja was on his way out, that, okay, Keisean can have a little bit of that jaw, but still back it up and play. We remember he got burnt on a couple wheels. He got burnt on a couple cover one mans. You're going to have that. And it's also the thing of, hey, corners are I think Halfley said it, or you can play 60 snaps perfectly. If there were 63 on, defensive snaps and you gave up 2 catches and, you missed a pick, all those 3 are, everyone's watching you. They don't care that you made 5 tackles before on outside runs and all that stuff. Those 3 plays are what you're going to be remembered for. And he's been able to get his hands on the ball. If you can be around the ball, good things will happen.
Mm-hmm. Chuck Gagger's in here professing his love for me. He says, Clay, I love you so much. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm glad to be wrong, but I'm not a fan at all with, I think he's saying Keisean at cornerback.
With PTA cornerback, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect this, Chuck. Maybe it's something that I had lower standards than most fans. I honestly, when they said he was moving outside, I was like, man, I don't know how long this is going to last. And you guys heard me. I was going, all right, we signed Nate Hobbs. Let's get Carrington out there in place of Keisean. If it ain't a fit, then let him go back to returning kicks. But I've been pleasantly surprised with how he played. But he does say in key big moments, quarterbacks look for Key and throw his way. There's no doubt about that. As a matter of fact, I've got some numbers here. Let me drop this down. And he has been targeted, I think, 58 times. So, and that's a very good point, because that's typically a good indicator of how quarterbacks respect the corner or not, whether they're willing to throw their way, right? So when you break it down here, where is he? Right here. So Keisean Nixon, 58 targets, 34 catches. What's hurting his passer rating when targeted is the 3 touchdowns he's given up. Now, keep in mind, this is GPS tracking. So when you go watch the tape, maybe all 3 of those weren't on him. Hell, maybe there was a couple extra that were on him that he wasn't closest to him, but he blew a coverage, right? That could be the case as well. But he's got a 96 passer rating when targeted. That's tied for 109th in the league. You're probably going, damn, 109th best corner? That's all DBs, okay? So they don't differentiate on NFL Pro between corners and safeties. Typically, your safeties are at the top of the list. So what you want to throw into effect here is it's 1, 2, both safety positions, right? And then 3 for the top corner, okay? So if that's the case, and he's ranked, 110th?
Be out of 96 then, right?
If we divide that by 3, that would make him probably somewhere around the 36th best corner in terms of not corner, corner, I guess you could say 36th best corner in terms of passer rating when targeted, just generally speaking, right? I didn't expect that. I expected this dude to be like, he's probably going to be on the bench by the end of the year. I don't know if it's just knowing that he's got that luxury of having that extra defender that is the out of bounds line next to him, that he plays a little bit better, but he's definitely playing better outside than he did in the slot. And I don't think it's anything like what Coach Lynn is saying, K9 is Fossey. I don't think it wasn't want to or hustle, right? It's just, I don't know. I didn't expect him to be a natural outside corner. I'm happy with the way he's played, especially for the $6 million against the cap. You can't beat that. That's good.
Right. Yeah, because if you're including DBs as like you said, corners and safeties, a starting position for each of them, there's 128 spots right there. What's he, 109 on that one? So so he's a starting secondary player. If you want to look at, just a number 1, okay, he's 109, but out of 96, he's just on the outside being a number 2. So either way you slice it, dude's basically a starting corner. Whereas, before, I'm just glad we brought him over from the Raiders. Really, it's him, Jacobs, Raiders. Basically, we got a couple key cogs from them. And you look back at it and say, "Hey, that was a good pickup." Yeah, right at the moment when he first started, it wasn't great. But like Coach Lynn was saying here too, he's come a long way. That's the truth. He has come a long way for being an outside corner. And like Jen was saying, it's still his first full year at outside corner as well. Bingo. So there's just a lot of things that have been changing for him. Kind of like Bull, you get him moving around. You had Key in the slot, outside in the slot, outside. Give him a spot, let him feel comfortable at it. And it's paid off. We're you're kind of getting rewarded with it, which is huge, because we were screaming all off season, we need a corner. We didn't even touch it in the draft.
Right.
We didn't even touch it. So until the 7th round. So that's where you say, hey, you got to have confidence in your players at some point. You can't always get a piece of duct tape and patch a hole in the boat.
Right. Chuck says a big facts, Clayton. He's hitting above his weight class, but real wide receiver make him look pedestrian. And that's the thing too, is like, as you get a little deeper into the year, Chuck, maybe Hafley's going to start looking at it like, okay, Carrington's our best corner. So why don't, when we come out in these cover 6 looks, why don't we throw the 2 side to Carrington's side? Because we've seen him almost carry a little bit, no pun intended, on the Evan Williams interception. Like he'll break off of that and make plays. Keisean doesn't quite do that at that level. So why not have him on the cover 4 side so he doesn't have to do so much, right? And I'd have to look at the numbers. Maybe they're already doing that, right? But, and Chuck went on to say, sorry, it wasn't supposed to be a dunk session. No, absolutely, man. No, I know it wasn't. And, again, I think you make great points. I'm not saying he's like a true number 1 corner. I just think I had such low expectations that I'm pleasantly surprised with what he's done. Now, we say one of the big keys to determining whether a corner is good or not is these offensive coordinators, are they testing them, right? If they're testing them, they probably ain't got a whole lot of respect for them. That holds up here with Key. He's been targeted 58 times. That's 5th most in the league amongst all DBs, okay? Mike Jackson, another guy, on that list with pass breakups, he's got targeted 59 times. So maybe the pass breakups is more along the lines of he's getting targeted a lot. That's why he's got more pass breakups, and that's something you need to take into effect too. So, again, I think he is playing – if you had to grade him, Emilio, poor, below average, right? Average, above average, good, very good, great, or elite, kind of in that, where would you put him? Would you say he's an average corner? Because I feel like he's at least above average.
Yeah, I was going to say good. I was going to say good. He's definitely feel like he's at the top of above average, if anything. I feel like he's a good corner. He's got that dog mentality. He's not afraid of contact. He's not afraid to get in your face. You can't have somebody that's going to walk, you can't have the dude that's been sitting on the side of the bench all year. You walks out there, dude's got butterflies in his stomach, can't even make a play, scared. You got grills of Justin Jefferson sitting across from you. You're getting blinded by that, and you can't cover the dude. That's an issue. You know what I mean? So I love that Key doesn't back down. You get up in his face if you can. If you want to be the best, you want to play against the best, and he has that mentality. I think you got to be able to lean in on that.
Yeah, Joe Pack Joe says K9 would have been a hell of a DB in the 90s. He ain't scared to hit. That's a very good point. He plays the game. Now, listen, I'm not trying to say Keisean should be compared to a Hall of Famer, but there was two different styles of corners in the 90s, right? You had your Deons that didn't hit a lot, but boy, they were amazing as a shutdown corner. You had your Rod Woodsons who were very physical. Keisean plays more along the line of a Rod Woodson, right? Willing to hit, and obviously Rod switched to safety later. Maybe that's something that might be good for Key later in his career too, is to play safety. I could see him being one of those hard-hitting safety types too. So, but yeah, it's just really interesting to kind of dive into that stuff. And again, I'm happy with what he's done up to this point. Somebody else mentioned something in the chat. Gosh, I think I had it more. Here we go. Older than dirt. I am too, by the way. He was in position for a pick Sunday. I love his attitude and effort. Again, we talked about that. Xavier McKinney unfortunately flashed that arm in front of him, trying to make a play on the ball.
Yep.
If Keisean picks that pass off in the end zone with that red zone interception, boy, oh boy, we're talking about, okay, maybe he's taking the next step, right? And
that's the other thing. Looking at his numbers, Clay, what's that interception column? Yeah, he's got 3 touchdowns, but he's got no picks. I mean, that's going to give him a boost right there. Everybody else, I mean, half the other people got 1, 2, 3. I mean,
right.
We just need the turnovers. The whole defense, not just Key. The whole defense needs them. We need to have that. That needs to be a part of this team. It needs to and it's going to come. It's a game of runs. It's going to come in bunches. And when it starts happening, we're going to be excited because they're going to start rolling in.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. So there you go. There's just a little look at Keisean. I wanted to hit that because I thought it was interesting that stat came up, and now he's back in the lead for pass breakups. And again, I know some of it has to do with the fact that he's getting targeted a lot. But I want to know what you guys think about it. It's been a great conversation with the chat. If you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments. How do you feel about Keisean Nixon? Would you say he's a number 1 corner? Would you say he's a number 2 corner? Maybe you think he's not even a number 2 corner. He's a backup caliber corner. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Deadfish says above average. We'll see how he does this week. Amen. That's fair. That's very fair.
Right. Said good. Jason Y said, I love that K9 gets in wide receivers' heads.
He does. And listen, I got to be real with you, though, Jason. I bet I've said at least 6 or 7 times this season at the top of my lungs, Keisean, shut the hell up. Like you're going to get flagged.
He's screaming at the TV, man. He's over here. What happened?
I am so nervous, man, because he jaws so much. I'm like, when he gets flagged, y'all are going to hear me rant because it's coming. But, again, he does get in their head, and that's just how he plays the game, man.
Yeah, it's part of it. It's part of it.
Yeah, Jason Wise loving it. I'm over here pulling my hair out. So,
Clay, you were a trash talker, and come on now. I know you were trash talking when you were out there.
No. I did not talk trash, but I had a hell of a temper. Like I was the dude that I wasn't going to say anything, but if you ran your mouth to me, oh yeah, dude, you're getting ear hole.
Yeah. If
you square around the bunt, my eyes would go. The peripheral would catch up that square around the bunt. My eyes would go from the mid right to the ear hole. And going into second, it's okay for me to take you out in a double play, but you better not get your cleats nowhere near me. I'm ready to fight. Like I was a spoiled brat in that regard, man. Yeah. I didn't talk, but boy, I got mad
No,
so easy.
I used to talk a little bit of smack, Clay. That's
I
how
know
you get in
you
the head, man. That's how you
I'm
get
the
in the
best
head.
to ever play this game.
Well, yeah. Well, that and in lacrosse, I mean, sitting there on defense, you got your guy, right? So you're sitting there, you just kind of got your stick on. You're just kind of making sure he's there. When the ball's in the offensive end, you're just kind of standing there. So you got to, you just got to, dude. What's up with those socks you got on right there? I mean, was the last time you washed those things? It's just like you just a little bit, just get him thinking.
Yeah, it's funny too because there's a guy, I won't mention his name because I know his name too because he's one of my favorite opponents in high school. He played for a rival team, Kwood, and anytime somebody got a hit and they came around, if they made it to second, I played short. If I played shortstop, I'd let them know, hey man, good hit, man, good hit. Like I love people who played the game the right way. And listen, we're going to get your ass out next time, but good hit, right? Just good sportsmanship, right? And it's funny because he said he told his mother who ran a business back home in the town I lived in, and he went to high school about 30 minutes away, which we played them as rivals. And I went into her business one day. She said, my son just absolutely adores you. He says you're one of his favorite opponents. You're real respectful. This and that. I was like, I appreciate that, whatever, And it was funny too because his teammate was one I about got into a fist fight over him taking me out at second. So it's like you play the game the right way. I was happy with it. You know what I mean? I got along with people.
Yep.
But if I felt like you were a pretty boy, and this boy was, I want to say his name so bad. His teammate was such a pretty boy, and of course I beat him out for all district that year. So
yeah. Oh yeah, no, yeah, and it's not like I didn't. I mean, it was just a little smack talk here and there. I love to. I mean, I wanted to hit people. Trust me, seeing snot bubbles was what we were looking for. So, you back it up with the play, you back it up with the scoreboard for sure. But you got to just get in the head a little bit, just a little bit.
Absolutely. 2-0 for this says, I'm too uncoordinated to play baseball. I accidentally kicked the guy in the face, sliding to third. That's the way you're supposed to do it, though. Go in there, Spock's up, man. You know what I mean? You're good. But it's funny you say that because when it came to baseball, I was coordinated. I could put just enough pressure with one finger on the ball to get the proper spin pitching. It was just you put me. I mean, you get me out there trying to play a guitar or something. Oh my God, I am so.
Yeah, I'll bring the sticks up next time. We can go play catch. We'll play some lacrosse out in the yard.
Oh my God, there ain't no way. I don't know if I could do that. I probably could pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, you could.
That's field hockey, right?
Yeah. It's just standing up field hockey. Yep.
Jason Wine to chat says a couple of my closest friends I got into fights fifth when I first met them. It's funny you say that. First baseman, name's Travis. Shout out to Travis. We ran into each other, unfortunately, at a funeral the other day. It's been a couple of months ago now. One of Mandy's family members passed away. He came to the funeral, and it wasn't 48 hours later, me and Mandy were like, let's go check out the casino. We'd never been to the casino here locally. We went to the casino. I'm at the bar. Somebody comes up behind me and starts rubbing on me on my shoulders and stuff. I'm like, all right, who is this? And I turn around. So I knew I smelled your cologne, you creeper. So it was Trav. We hated each other. When we first met, we got into a fight in an all-star. We were on the same team, Little League All-Stars. We got into a fight. It was Little League All-Stars. We got into a fight in the dugout, and our coaches had to break us up. Hated each other. Ended up being best friends. So Same thing, Jason. Same, man.
That's how it happens.
Yep. All right, enough killing time here. We're done. Emilio, I appreciate your time tonight, man. Anything else you want to hit before we wrap up?
No, man. We got big divisional here, another divisional in a few days after. That's it. That's season starts, like Belichick says, after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I'm going to say the week before right now because it's important the way the schedule is laid out now.
Yeah, definitely. We appreciate you, Jason. Thank you so much, man. Everybody in here, thank you all for hanging out with us. Chuck Jaggers, # thanks, Mandy. Thanks, Mandy. Appreciate you, huh?
Thank you, Mandy.
So, yeah. Y'all probably see her before me. She ain't talking to me, right? But we'll be back tomorrow, guys, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. If any news breaks during the day, I'll jump on and chat with you guys about it. Hopefully we get Jaden Reed back to practice today. He wasn't back out there. We were kind of holding out a little hope that he would after the tweet and everything yesterday. I think we're really close. It might be another game, though, before we see him out there. We originally said Thanksgiving, so maybe that's what they're trying to work towards, right? So we'll see what happens. But everybody, thank y'all so much for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. It helps more than you know. And, y'all stay warm out there. Was it warm down your way today?
Was it warm? I was sweating, Clay.
Yeah, I got hot too, man. I started the morning off with the bibs froze to death, and by noon I was sweating. I was stripping off clothes like Jacob on the pole. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But all right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a great night. Hit that like button for us, and we will do the giveaway tomorrow. I promise. And here's what we got: a jersey card. Josh Jacobs jersey card is pretty sweet, right? A little jersey patch in there. So we'll give that away to one lucky Patreon member or YouTube member here. We'll put everybody's name on the wheel and spin it. So check out our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. The best way to support us here. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Emilio cycled through the phone number and everything. You the man. Look at you.
We tried.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Here we go. We're out. Bye, guys.